Are you able to?
Yeah. Yeah, hold on just a second. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Share it again. Oh, it's this one here.
Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you.
All right, so what we did is we went in and we searched for the travel authorization screen by this jump to bar here. We got into the travel authorization screen, and then we are pulling in the traveler information into that document, okay? So I have found myself, you have to use the first and the last name apparently. I'm gonna click return value here. If you notice, when you pull in any traveler who's an employee, the street address is 2200 Bonfort Boulevard, regardless. These reimbursements will either go ACH, or when KFS is having problems and it decides to randomly submit or disperse a check, that check will come down here to us and it'll be in the cashier's page.
And what if you can't find somebody?
What do you mean?
Like, put your name and you can't find it.
Okay, so if you can't find somebody when you're pulling them in, that means their TEM profile is not set up. So you have to go all the way back to the first couple pages of that PowerPoint and try and figure out what step was missed. Okay. All right, so description. In your description, you're going to want to put in.
No, that'll automatically.
Does it?
Yeah, you got to go over to the explanation.
I apparently don't know what I'm doing, guys. Does it really?
Yeah. If you put save, yeah.
I actually, you know what's funny is I actually don't do TAs ever. I never do TAs. I rarely do TRs unless one of you guys is having problems. So yeah, sorry.
So you can put information in there, like what conference you're going to, where you're going, the dates on there. Put all that information in that explanation there. Yeah, the description will pre-fill after you've done stuff. And it created I go to the top again. At the very top, you'll scroll up. You'll see that, it had a T number in there before. But the T number will show up.
It doesn't until you say you process it.
Oh, because she transitioned to the one she has prepared.
Oh, yeah. No.
Oh, this is the one I already have done. I have one that's done so I can start the TR for them too. I really need to do this more often. Okay, so 10/6/23 to 10/8/23. I mean, I just want as much information as possible. Fort Collins will actually send me notes when you guys don't put in your dates, or if your dates have changed, or if they look different, or any of the stuff from your TA to your TR. They'll come and they'll be like, hey, can you look at this? I'm like, okay. So and
if you put less detail in, it could slow down the whole process.
It will. And we just had this conversation. The less questions I have to ask, the better.
I have a question.
Yes.
If one person is going from one conference to the next conference, do we just put in the explanation like what the kids are doing? So I just had one that's going to a conference in Chicago, and then from Chicago they're going to Washington D.C.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I want the explanation up here.
It's one trip.
It is all one trip.
Put the whole explanation.
So what if they've already had the TA for DC, so they just need a TA for Chicago?
The Chicago trip was after you already submitted the one. So, right, but you submitted the DC first, and then they decided to go to the other one. So then
are the dates different?
Yeah, so
I would cancel it. You might have to cancel it, yeah, and you can do a combined TA, but yeah, like, yeah, I would cancel it and redo it. I'm so sorry. Okay, so no description, but an explanation. Please put an explanation of where you're going, the dates. If it's a split thing, please put all of that information in there. And then down here, the trip type code is going to be out of state.
Good question.
Yes, sir.
So following up in regards to that, for example, if you're going to do one travel authorization that is a little bit combined, how would you go about that? Because I mean, if the person is going to Chicago and then is going to Washington, the per diem should be different, and city.
Yes, so your per diem table, when you go to pull it in, it should allow you to pull in one destination and then manipulate the rest of the destinations. I actually had somebody, I don't know if she's in here, who was having problems with that the other day, but I think that's an actual cloud issue and not the procedure issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you're going to change your dates. You're going to look up your primary destination. So this can get tricky, but if you pull your region in, which is the state, if you don't have county, you can just put in the primary and usually it'll bring it up. And there it is, it's Harris County. Return value on that. Your business purpose is conference.
Or in this box, Nicole, you told me to only put where they were going, their final destination, and their final date travel. Is that not what you want in that box anymore?
So the business purpose should always be what they're doing. It hasn't changed. So the business purpose for DVs, I just want like invoice numbers, one number, like a number, because you put too much stuff in there, people get confused. But for the business purpose on a TA, I want what you're doing, why, kind of like just like, okay, OFM business or
something. That's not how we were taught. Those OGs of us who've been here forever, that's how we were taught before.
Like Sarah days?
Before you.
Like Sarah days? Yeah, Sarah.
We just put our destination, the last day of travel, and that was all they ever wanted.
So between Sarah and me, we had this like little mini audit, and we found that there were certain things that weren't working.
Okay.
They still don't work.
So
but whatever. We need another audit. No. Okay. But yeah, no, just put, and it doesn't have to be like a paragraph. I get paragraphs in there all the time, but it doesn't have to be a paragraph. Just tell me like you're going to a conference in Houston for OFM training or for, to learn Excel. I don't know, like something. Okay. Tell me what you're doing. Okay. And then the dates. And I don't even know if the dates are necessary, but I would put them in just in case they're necessary. Okay, that's what it should look like. If you're going to be doing travel advances, this is where you would request it. You would request the money here. The payment due date should be 2 weeks before you travel. I mean, it's going to go into your guys', whoever's holding the TA, it's going to go into their account.
Their personal account.
Their personal account. So this goes into your payroll direct deposit account. But so you'll be sitting on that money. Please don't use that money for anything else but the travel. But we request 2 weeks in advance because, again, the TA can get hung up. And we want you to have that money in enough time for you to actually travel with that money on. Okay, payment due date, reason for advance. Usually it's the group leader, and you need money for all the people that you're taking. We don't use this one. Like this is not, we don't use advances for this one at all. Okay. Expenses incurred before the trip that need to be paid. That's why we have travel cards and stuff like that. And other's tricky. So like if you have to use other, like have a good explanation for why you need this money. And foreign travel, that's all done like verbal first. So like I'll already know like what you need the travel advance for if you're going to Europe or whatever. And then you need to read the travel advance policy, please. And then click this box and add any additional justification you need to add if you have an other, like if you clicked other or chose other.
Or even if you're the leader, just put something in there that you're going to, it's $50 per diem for students or whatever.
Yeah, that's
and the total amount for these many days. And that's why it comes to that.
But whatever you put in this justification, I want to see in the notes as well. Or in your expense line. So if you're doing $25 per diem per kid per day or whatever, I want to see that on that expense line that, and then it's just non-reimbursable. Does that make sense? Okay, travel advance accounting lines don't ever change. Payment information for travel advance. It's going to show you your dollar amount here. Your payment method is always going to be check or ACH. Okay, do not click the check enclosure, please, because then that will prompt it to issue a check, a paper check, and mail down here. And that could take an additional, God knows how long. It takes, I'm so serious, between their mail center, our mail center, and the actual mail, I don't get pieces of mail that they send me for like a month sometimes. So like we definitely want it to go ACH if it can. All right, no special handling, no wire transfer, no foreign draft.
How do we set up the ACH? Like Carol gets paid ACH, but she always gets a check. But all my other faculty and staff, they get ACH.
That is really weird. It's just Carol.
Yeah.
That's interesting because so if you have direct deposit set up with payroll, your KFS reimbursements should go ACH. I would have Carol talk to payroll, and then if she still has problems, send me an email and I'll talk to one of the guys up in Fort Collins to see what the problem is.
Okay.
Because they're the
yeah, she's the only one that gets
guys. That's weird. That's weird. I have a couple of people who have submitted travel reimbursements that have gotten checks, and then they've gotten lost. So I really hate when they print checks for these things. Our cashier is not always like savvy on which ones are reimbursements and which ones are student refunds and stuff. So it's weird for them too. But again, it's since we've gone to the cloud, like it's very finicky. It does what it wants, like consistently.
Sometimes the mail center will send it to a department and not even to you.
Yeah, even though it says my name on it, like literally every envelope they send to me has my name on it. But yeah, no, it'll end up in one of your guys' departments. Please send it to me if you get something with my name on it. Okay, so your emergency contact should auto-populate based on what your TEM profile says. Here's your estimated per diem expenses. So this is where you create your per diem table for the TA. You will click this button here.
I think it's because of the dates you put. Also, it's gonna prompt that error.
Oh, I should probably change those. You're probably right. Well, no, because people submit travel authorizations and reimbursements from like 2 years ago. So it should be okay. I guess we'll see. Yeah.
Well, we've been off for the last 15 days.
Oh, I worked from home yesterday and I couldn't get in it for most of the morning. So I did all my spreadsheets instead.
Does the per diem actually pull from the state itself, or is it just auto?
Yeah, so GSA.gov is usually what it pulls from. It's either GSA or Rwanda, but it's one of the per diem systems for the state. And so when you are pulling it in for a date, it is an exact amount for that date. Is there? Oh, great.
Yes, thanks. Yes, thanks.
Outstanding.
Yes, thanks.
All right, so, holy crap, what happened? I must have bet something. Okay, it's okay. So because you put Houston up here, oh, it is 18. That's okay. It doesn't matter for this. Because you put Houston up here, it's going to pull the per diem rates for all of the days that you say that you're going to be in Houston, including the lodging. The lodging is the one thing you can change, or I'm sorry, the lodging and the mileage are the two things that you can change on this per diem table, okay? If you notice the first day, it is at 75% of the rest of the per diem table. And again, as we spoke about, that's based on fiscal rules. Oh my goodness.
And this is where you can start off of the agenda. If you know the lunch is in there, you can take the lunch out. If you're having lunch at the conference, you can take the lunch out for the specific date.
Okay, well, that's all I needed to show you on this. So we're going to click right out of this because I fat fingered it. Okay, same thing. All right, so this is the finalized TA. You notice I have my per diem, the right per diem table on there. I haven't changed anything. I did take the lodging out because the lodging will be finalized later. But I also put expenses in here. So I have mileage, I have parking, and these are all just estimates at this point because I haven't traveled yet. So now that I've come back, that's just before Collins. I'm going to go ahead and come down here and click new reimbursement. Yay.
That's what it does to me every single time.
So this is when you get back from the trip and you're going to at the bottom go to the TA and go to just hit new reimbursement. And that's where you're going to put the actual expenses in.
Yes, we're going to just change all the lines on the expense and put our lodging in. Let's see if it'll, might not be in my.
Sometimes when you go back in, it'll ask you to reload, even though you saved it. And maybe you saved it, you opened it back up, added about 15 more lines, and then you save it again, but sometimes when you get back in there, it'll tell you to reload it. When it reloads, it's going to reload not on what you just finished adding in.
Right.
It reloads the previous saved TA. So just wanted to warn everybody about that.
Yes, KFS is definitely a pain.
Other than to kill quality, I've not found a way to get out of that screen.
Right.
Get out of that screen. So yeah.
No, so yeah, when KFS decides to be finicky, it gets real finicky. It will delete your stuff. It will not let you save things. It will not recognize who you are anymore. Sometimes it's, I don't know if it's the cloud implement, because I didn't have these problems prior to moving into the cloud. So I'm assuming that because there's so many users, because it's not just this campus that uses KFS. It is the Spur campus, isn't it? It is, I know it's global. And then it is all of Fort Collins's business teams too. And they have teams in each of their departments because they're so big. So I'm assuming because during the weekday, there are so many people on this KFS system in that cloud that it sometimes just errors. And it's unfortunate when it errors and you're almost done with something, because sometimes you just have to go in and redo it. And there's somebody in Fort Collins that I talk to consistently, that I yell at consistently, and he's always just like, I'm so sorry. So there's really nothing that they can do about these things either. So I'm sorry, Mary, that sucks. That's really terrible, but yeah. And I'm sorry to anybody else who has to deal with it, but you should see when like I load something, I do service billings and they're hundreds of lines long. And I spend hours on these spreadsheets just keying stuff in, and I'm almost done and it just won't take it. It's like, not today. I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow then. Fine. So KFS can be a pain, and I'm sorry. Okay, so we have a new travel reimbursement that came from my finalized TA, because I just did my travel to Houston, loved it, and now I'm back, okay? Everything pretty much stays the same. In the lodging, I'm going to put my actual expense for the days. My meals are fine because I didn't go over or under my per diem.
Unless there was a lunch.
Right. Okay, so on the 7th, they gave me lunch. They fed me really well. So I'm going to go ahead and take that per diem out of here. The mileage is the same.
So Nicole, I think for purposes of knowing what will be the case if they're using a travel card to pay for the per diem, they just need to put 0 to everything, right?
A department card or the personal travel card?
The department.
So the department card, you would not claim per diem.
Yeah, there's no per
If
diem.
the meals are being charged to that card.
So in the travel reimbursement, you just add 0 in all of them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, either you could do that or not use a per diem table at all. put an explanation in there that all meals are put on the travel card. I will look at those receipts. I need all of those receipts. I will look at them, and then I will yell at you if they're over the per diem rates. And that's a lot more work for me. Telling you, I have to like pull up the GSA.gov. I have to do all of these things. I have to actually use math, and I don't like to, but I will. Okay. But I will catch something if it's a problem. All right, so the one thing I didn't add in here, because I didn't add it to the original TA and I wasn't going to do another one, is the airfare. Okay, so we are going to add a line for the airfare. And we're going to do it for the first day of travel. The expense is going to be $365. It's just going to be a round trip. And it is going to be non-reimbursable. Okay, and then we're going to add it. Now it's always going to give you a warning because it wants more justification. It wants more explanation. So we'll go down to the bottom here. And we're going to pull the airfare source code, which is always New Horizons, unless it's something that you guys went out and got yourself, but we still need the New Horizons quote. So it's New Horizons, and the class of service is always economy. And you're going to put the or something along those lines. And then we're going to add it. So you'll have two lines. One has justification on it, one doesn't. But if you see, they both say that they're non-reimbursable, and there's only one expense amount, okay? Now, everything else is fine. Everything else is the same. Now we're going to
calculate at this point since you already changed the things in the per diem table, and I didn't see for us the per diem update per diem. Will it still do it? I've never done that before.
It should. So if you look at right here, it says $513.50 on my per diem. That's taking into account the lodging. Yes, sir.
All right, so all the students went under my name for the travel authorization. It's gonna automatically, even though I'm the only person that can show the per diem table just for the one person, then you on the back end know that you're gonna charge it for the rest of the roster. That same calculation to the students, or
no. So for your group travel, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to utilize per diem at all. Right. What you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to put in the hotel fare, the airfare, just so I can see it, the hotel. The airfare is going to be non-reimbursable. Hotel, the amount for everybody's stay, and then I want to see the hotel receipts for all of that stay, the food or the per diem for the kids or whatever, and then I want to see the roster where they got it, like, so I can do the calculations on the amount of per diem you said that you gave them, and then the students,
so,
and then the days. So like I'll be able to do the calculations on that, and then for your food, I'm probably just going to need to see the receipts if you're doing your own food, or if you're doing a group food for all you and all these kids. I just need to see those receipts and I can do the calculations on those too.
okay, so
You're probably not doing that, but this will be all non-reimbursable stuff because you're using your per line.
That's true.
So do I not?
But I still want to see. I think you should keep all your receipts because when he's doing the travel reimbursement, I have to justify everything that's being.
Right. So for the per diem table, want us to leave those numbers in there?
No, you don't have to do a per diem table. Okay. No, because you can separately on the expense lines. And so this is just for your singular per diem. Yes, this is your singular per diem. You don't have to do a per diem table. You can put everything in the actual expenses line. Okay. Yeah, and you just keep adding them and keep adding them. And it's really confusing to look at this. Like I know that like when you guys are probably doing this, that you're like, what? But as long as you make sure the dates match up to the receipts that you're submitting, I can figure it out. Okay.
So can I go back into my TA and just delete the chart, or do I just do that on the?
Do you have it set up?
Yes, it is set up so that the team per diem.
Is it final?
Yeah, it is final.
Okay. Will you come by a little bit later? Let's just really I really want to look at it. Okay, come with him. Like, just come and see me. Like, I'll be here all day, so just come and see me. Probably maybe a little bit after this, and we can look at it and just kind of get it figured out. And if we have to redo it, we will. But if we don't, like, if there's a way around it, because there's always a way to manipulate it on the travel reimbursement side. So okay, we'll just look at it. Okay, so my per diem has been updated. I added everything that I needed to add on here. And everything's changed, right? So when you go down here, the summary by object code, it's an accounting distribution by object code. Okay, so KFS has looked at your expenses and it's decided that to break it up based on the object codes that would go with these types of expenses, okay? There's blue check marks on the side of them because these are the things that you need to allocate in the accounting lines. So that's one piece. So the second piece is you're going to assign your main account or your accounts that you want to use for these expenses. I'm going to use one account. So 100% of these expenses are going to go to this account. And I'm just going to add it. Always add. There are little green buttons. Always click those buttons on your lines. Okay, so now my accounts have come down to the source accounting lines. And I'm just going to follow this here to break it apart. So for object code 6071, which is miscellaneous travel, it's going to be $25. I'm going to add. Now, if you notice that blue check mark is gone. So now we're going to do 6075, which is most of my per diem stuff. I'm going to add it. And then the last one is 6077. And it's actually put it on here for me because it's really kind. I'm just going to add it. Now you can do a line description, but it's not necessary if you've already done it in your expenses. It's just double work. All right. So all of that's finished. And if you notice up here, everything's gone. Everything's zeroed out on the remaining amounts. That means everything's been distributed correctly based on KFS's idea of where it should go. All right, here's my payment information. Payment method would always be check and ACH. The due date's always today. Okay, do not click check enclosure. Do not click the W-9 thing. It's not necessary. Down here, notes and attachments. I want all your receipts. I want good explanations for why you're sending me a statement instead of a receipt. Anything out of the ordinary that happened, all of that stuff can go here. If something looks funny up in your expenses, please write a note why it looks funny. Anything that you can tell me in this document will help me not have to reach out to you or send you a little message or any of that stuff. And it'll help this go through the system quicker. Because after me, KFS documents, all KFS documents are looked at by Fort Collins accounting teams. And they always have, like, they're sticklers. I'm a stickler, but they're big sticklers. Like, I'm more of a stickler now because they were so hard on me in the beginning. I'm so serious. Like they everything. There's this one lady up there and she catches everything. I have never seen a person be able to catch everything like this woman does. So any kind of explanation you can provide will be more helpful than not. Okay. So now that everything's done, I'm going to ad hoc my supervisor. Okay. So when you ad hoc, you can look them up. You can look them up by last name You can look them up by first name. You can look them up by both. So you find them, you pull them in, and then you make sure this says approve, and then you add, okay? That's my supervisor. I know it's not going to organically go to her because it goes to Juanita. My account number won't organically go to her, so I have to ad hoc her in. So for ad hocing Pueblo travel, you're going to want to, I can't remember if it's by name, but we're going to try that.
This is Pueblo Travel.
Is it just Pueblo travel?
Yeah.
All right. And then we're going to return value. And then we're going to make sure it's approved. If you send this and I get this in my action list, FYI, I am going to try my hardest to get it disapproved. It needs to be approved when it comes to Pueblo travel. Because if I send it, if I FYI it and it goes through somewhere else, that could be an audit issue. So it always has to be approved by, the TAs don't always have to be approved by me. I don't know if you guys know that, but a lot of these TAs won't route to me organically. But the travel reimbursements, if they don't route to me as approval, they'll go up to Fort Collins. Fort Collins has 15 days to look at their travel list, their action list. And once they get to it, they see, oh, it was FYI. They will ad hoc approve it back to me. And then I have 7 to 10 business days to look at my action list. So please just ad hoc and approve. That's the point. It could take 30 days just in approvals is my point.
So is it supposed to go when you do the group request ad hoc? Is it supposed to go first to you, or it should still go to the supervisor?
It should still go to your supervisor and your fiscal officer first. I'm even when you ad hoc the approve, I am still the final before it goes up to Fort Collins. But if you ad hoc approve it to me, it'll bypass Fort Collins like the first time. It's really hard to explain where Fort Collins sits in all of our approvals, but if you ad hoc it to me, they won't see it before I do. I will see it first. Okay, and if it says that I approved it, they won't even look at it. It'll just organically move. Does that make sense? It's really weird. It took me a really long time to figure out like why they were looking at all my stuff.
And for travel authorization, oh, sorry, it wasn't.
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
For travel authorizations, do we also do that? We ad hoc Pueblo travel or no?
You don't have to.
Okay.
If it needs to come to me, it will.
Okay.
But you don't have to ad hoc Pueblo travel on your TAs. You do have to ad hoc your supervisors though.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you ad hoc on the TA, then will it automatically ad hoc on the reimbursement? Or you have to still do that?
Yeah, you still have to manually ad hoc who you want in there. And again, if your supervisor is the fiscal officer, you don't have to ad hoc him. Them. The person traveling, I'm sorry. So if the person traveling supervisor is the fiscal officer on the account that you're using, then it'll organically go to them. You don't have to ad hoc them. But if it doesn't, or if you're not sure, even if you're not sure, please ad hoc them. Okay.
Goes to the account. Scroll up.
Yeah, Wanda.
Okay, does it make a big difference? Because I accidentally did this one time. I added all the documents. I put them in the TA, like and then I was like, oh shoot, I got it mixed up with the, and then I went back and added them again into the TR. Is that a big deal?
Okay, so no. So any notes and attachments that's on your TA will not carry over to your TR. So you will have to go in and reattach everything that you had on your TA in your TR if you want it, if it matters on your TR.
But does it, for like to get a map mark or anything if it's in both?
No. There's some things you don't want on your TA, right. But other than that, no.
Because sometimes they look alike. Sometimes because I forgot to switch over to the TR. You know what I mean?
I get that.
Put it in, and I'm like, wait, this is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no.
And then I just went in and re-added, but
Yeah, and I mean, as long as you
So
add
it's
it to
a
your
double.
TR, yeah,
Okay.
it's fine. If you guys need something deleted off of the document, I'm the only person I think on campus who can.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. Somebody else used to be able to do it, but I guess they left or something. But so if you need something taken off your TA that's like anything with social security numbers and stuff like
Oh,
that,
yeah,
you don't
none of
want
that.
those things on there in this system. It is a cloud-based system now. So either you redact them or you have them deleted off of your
It
document.
was just the other, like the document, like
Yeah, the basic
lines and all that.
documents, yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine. That's okay. All right, so once you have your ad hoc approvals, you're gonna want to click add.
What if you don't know who your fiscal officer is?
Oh, I don't know.
So go up, scroll up.
I actually don't know. Like I know how to look through the account, but
Right down. Go
where?
to the account where the account you have it. Can you not? Well, you can't click on that, I guess.
No. So okay, if let's say you don't know.
I think you can do it from there when you click on the search on where you look for your account. So click again on the search bar.
Here?
Yeah. And then if you look for the account number, click search again.
Oh, it'll pull the account number up.
And then you click, no,
And
the
then right
account.
over the site says
Oh.
there. Well,
Yeah. Garrison Ortiz is
No.
the account supervisor's name, or
Next.
oh, Meg and Juanita are my, yeah.
So that's a quick way to.
I didn't know she was on there. And he's the account supervisor. And Meg is the fiscal officer. So I didn't even have to ad hoc her in here. I didn't know that. But still.
I think my TEM profile is wrong. I
Okay.
need to update it
Okay.
because it still has Michael Mannels, so
Okay.
I know how to do that.
So you'll go into your TEM. No, I don't know.
Well,
I don't actually
clicked on
know.
edit and it wouldn't let me do it. So I didn't know how else to do it.
What is your
Louise,
all right. Is this still your account number?
yes.
Okay. There's Anaya. This here?
Yes, for Mike Mannels. I don't know how to get rid of that.
So the arranger
So
information.
click on. Can you click on that search?
This here?
Yeah. It's like. Well, close. Take that principal name out. And then what is it? Hart.
Yes,
The last
H-A-R-G.
name Harge. Search and return value. And then
This is just arranger. This is just arranger information.
Right, I know, but I'm just trying to correct it so it's not Mike Mantle sitting there anymore. And that's the previous, and you're changing it to the.
But the arranger information doesn't matter. Like so.
I know, but Mike doesn't even work here anymore, so we're
Right.
just trying to update this to get it completely out of that. So then you would hit submit at the bottom. Or you could save it and then submit it. And then she could submit it. I know that Mike isn't here anymore,
Yeah.
so at the bottom just hit submit.
Okay. So it's not necessary to change your arranger information. Once you can go in and unclick all of these things, and that even though the TEM profile is set up as like a record keeping profile. So like everything that you've ever put in there, like it'll keep, but it'll just like overwrite it, but it'll keep that line. So you'll see it. So Mike was on here at some point. I don't know who this person is, but he was an arranger at some point for your profile. Okay. But because there's nothing here, it indicates that he's no longer an arranger for your profile. Okay. So this person is now an arranger for your profile, whoever that is. So like this, you don't have, it's going to say their names, but you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't make a difference. A Mike Manos can never get back into your TEM profile because he has no based here, he has no ability, okay? So I technically don't have to change anything, so I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it there just based on the idea that I don't want to add another record into there for no reason. Okay. So once all right. Okay, so once this is all figured out and your arrangers are in there, or I'm sorry, your supervisor and the Pueblo travel is ad hoc in there. All of your receipts are on there, and everything looks good to you. Double check, please, and then submit, and then it's off into KFS land. And it'll go to your fiscal officer first or your supervisor, and then it will go to Pueblo travel, and then it should be good. And I'll let you know if there's a problem. All right, so does anybody have any problems looking up travel authorizations? Do you guys?
How do you do that?
How do I? Okay, great question. Okay, so when you're looking, if you need to see a travel authorization, you can go to Doc Search here. The document type is going to be TA. And you're going to tab, so the screen is going to change, okay? So any pertinent information you actually have, you're going to want to use to search for this. If you have a T number, it's going to go in organizational document number. You're going to do T hyphen and then the number. I don't have an actual number to show you. If you don't have a T number and you have a document ID, you can put the document ID in here. Oh, sorry, I was on a different train of thought. Or you can put it here specifically. So if you have that's why I always ask you guys for the doc IDs, because it's the easiest way to search anything in KFS. If you have a doc ID, you can go straight into the doc search form and then search it by the doc ID. It's going to bring it up. No questions, no problems.
I don't have a doc ID.
Okay. Well, if you don't have a doc ID, you don't have an organizational document number, but you know who it's for, we're going to search by name. So we're going to do first name, last name, and then search. If it's a person who has traveled a lot, you're going to want to put the trip begin from and to dates, and trip begin date and trip end date. Sorry. Just to narrow it down a little bit, especially if somebody's been here for a really long time and has traveled for a really long time. It could take the KFS system a very long time to find what you're looking for.
Like if the date created from, like if it's only been in the last 6 months, you could go a little bit higher there where the date created from. Look higher.
Oh,
right there.
Yeah, if you know when you created it or like a time frame of when you created it, you can just put those dates in there.
And also, if you want at the bottom there, it says chart code. You can also, because it's going to look at 4 columns as well, but you can also reduce the amount of searching if you change it just to Pueblo.
To Pueblo. My rule of thumb is always put your chart code in there. We are PB. Always put your chart code in there so it bypasses everybody else's chart codes, because it'll look through everything for the information that you're trying to find. Thank you, Chris. I always forget those kind of things.
I was gonna say, I just do it by initiator, so I just put in my C number at the top so that it'll pull everything I've done and then I can go back.
That's usually how I look for my stuff too.
Yeah.
So
you know that you did it, but if you go, I don't know who did it.
Yeah, and so that's actually a great point. If you know that you set it up, it's probably easier just to look through your stuff.
Right.
Now, if you don't know if a document is what a document is that you created, you can always use an asterisk in the doc type and then just put your information in the initiator and it'll pull up all of the stuff. It'll pull up everything, at least 500. I think it ends at 500. It'll pull up 500 documents of the stuff that you've done and you can just look through it like that too. Again, the doc ID is the easiest way to find something. That's why I'm always like, you guys are like, oh, I have this. I'm like, what's the document number? Literally, that's always my next email. what is the doc number? Because it's the easiest way to find it. It's the fastest way to get you guys figured out. So, any
And
other
you can also
questions?
search that for the travel reimbursements too, if you want to see where the status of a travel reimbursement, if you haven't been paid yet or something.
So
Look at
TA
TR.
is travel authorization. TR is travel reimbursement. For most of you guys actually do disbursement vouchers and payment requests for me. If you ever want to look up your payment requests, PREQ is payment request. And DV is disbursement voucher. And you can search for those too.
PREQ.
PREQ is the doc type for payment request. If you do PREQ and then your PO number in the PO number field, because it'll pop up like that, you'll be able to find it. And then disbursement voucher, hold on. Disbursement voucher, you can search by putting DV in the doc type and then probably initiator U. Or if you know who initiated it, go and find them and pull it into the initiator, and you'll be able to find it that way as well.
So I guess this is more like for the department travel card. But so the first year that I was here, I got an email from Fort Collins that I had all these open travel authorizations. So my question is, for example, when I already did, you know how we get the statements and then I do the reallocation and send it to you. As soon as I send that email, can I go ahead and cancel those travel authorizations that were, like, we don't need anymore, or I have to wait until you reallocate?
You can cancel them. I can still see it as long as it has an account number. As long as it's been finalized, you can go ahead and cancel them because it'll have the information that I need to do my recon.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there's a spot when you do the travel reimbursement. There's a little box you can check that says this is the final reimbursement, and it'll close the TA out for you automatically.
Yes.
You don't even have to go back and close it.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's great information, and it's true. Yes. But you have to be careful with doing a final reimbursement for things, because if you miss something and they want it reimbursed, you have to create a whole new TA to do that travel reimbursement for that one thing. So it can be a double-edged sword, but it really is helpful. That is definitely.
Oh, and the reason I ask is because, for example, when you're using the department travel card, of course, most of the times, some of the people that have the TA are not going to get anything reimbursed.
Right.
So you don't have to do a travel reimbursement.
Right.
And for that reason, it doesn't give you an option to close the travel authorization, so you have to cancel.
You always have to cancel your TAs because that will release any encumbrances, any of that stuff. My rule of thumb is if somebody's not being reimbursed, as soon as they get back from their trip, as soon as you know they're coming back, the day after I'd go in and cancel it. But they have to be final. If you go in and you close the TA or cancel the TA and I can't find an account number, I'm going to lose it. It's just extra steps in something that's a very lengthy process anyway. So I won't really lose it. I'm just kidding, but yeah, it's just extra steps. Okay, so does anybody have any other questions on anything? Yes, ma'am.
So does the traveler get a notice that their check's ready for pickup if their travel's been arranged by someone else?
So the TR doesn't get erased. The TR stays in the system.
But I mean, like, my director, does he get an email saying, oh, your check is ready, or your direct deposit has been made, or anything like that?
I don't think so. I don't think so, unless Fort Collins sends one when they do the disbursement. But if a check comes down to me and I have to send it up to the cashier, I'll usually put a note in the travel reimbursement that says the check has gone up to the cashier, and I'll usually send an email.
And something I noticed last time is, for example, if you're doing a travel reimbursement for someone else, when you submitted it, it will still go for the traveler to approve it. So they should know.
Right. And it's just sometimes every day that person will come in and say, my check is ready.
Oh, God.
Check it. Am I getting paid? And I'm like, I don't know. Did you? So I didn't know.
I would have them check the cashier too. I don't know. Every once in a while I miss stuff, but I try really hard not to, but sometimes I get, again, sidetracked. And if I haven't sent an email and they're bugging you about it, either reach out to me or have them reach out to the cashier to see if it's sitting in there. But I try not to do that. I try really hard.
That makes some good sense what Fabian was saying, because before when you go to do the ad hoc, I've done that before as well. For your ad hoc, everybody you're supposed to, but then I FYI, the person that submitted it, that's how they knew that.
You can do that too. Just let them know that it's been submitted. FYI is a good tool as well.
So
yeah, I mean, you can use those tools for different things. It's not just for approvals. FYIs are good, acknowledgements, things like that. But right. I mean, just for me personally, I need the approvals.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We good? Anything else? Sorry, I'm so rusty at this. I apologize, but thanks for coming, you guys. You guys are great. Thanks.
I'll send the email to everybody about this program.
I'm so bad at it. I don't know how to make it. I swear.
Thank you, Kayleen and Andy. I'm going to stop it now.
Thank you.